Okay, so yesterday we started on counting levels. Yesterday we started on market maker. We just introduced the topic MM levels. Just a minute. Let me just share the whiteboard because I'm trying to use this one in a cutter. Okay, so yesterday we started on MM levels. And we said market maker usually create these levels, ideally for maybe 2 or 3 reasons. Number one is to trap traders, also to close their open positions in the markets, and also to create panic and fear to make maybe traders make a wrong decisions. So we talked over several things about the levels, whereby we say these levels is based on human psychology, whereby it touches on greed, fear, inexperience. So the market maker uses all this to trap traders in the wrong direction. And also we said these levels, you can count them on intraday levels that happens within a day. We said we have intraday levels. Okay, intraday levels are levels that happens within a day. We also talked about we can count the intraday, and we can as well count the days over several days. Okay, sorry. So we can count the levels over several days. Mine niko na shida leo several days So we also mentioned that these levels are ideally different from the levels yenye watu wanajua. Unajua kuna ile Elliott waves. Kama mmekuwa mna trade, I mentioned about that, like wave 1, wave 2, or the other indicators yenye nakupatia maybe describing the price action or the movement of the market. They are totally different. So I don't associate them with maybe the indicators or maybe indicators such as Elliott wave. We also say that market makers forms a level to trap traders or to book profits or to hit stops. Sometimes it will be very easy to identify these levels, but sometimes it's hard. I mentioned that. And that is also important to note. Sometimes it will be very direct for you to identify levels, but sometimes it will be hard. Okay. Sometimes it's easy to identify the level or the levels, but sometimes unaweza pata it's not easy as you think. Unapata nilikuwa nimeona hivi, mbona si hivi? So sometimes might be easy, but sometimes inaweza end up kuwa a little bit it can be easy, or sometimes it can be hard. Okay. So if you are aware of this, there's a way I will be taking us through, and I mentioned the time unaweza hesabu level 1, 2 and 3 and you find kumbe hujamaliza those level 1, 2 and 3 can be even be 1 level or 2 levels. So how do I get to a point of maybe get to understand that this is level 1, this is level 2 and this is level 3? Hapo ndio kuna kuanga na mtihani. And we also mentioned that these levels, we just mentioned them. Levels are always these market maker levels. There are usually 3 levels, though sometimes more of what we usually call an extended stop hand. Okay, so we usually have the 3 market maker levels. So another thing you need to know that is after every level there is always a correction. out of these 3 levels. Now that is where I will start my class today. So after every level, there is a correction. A correction is the same as a pullback or a retracement, or a consolidation. Okay. So after every level, there is a correction or a pullback or a retracement. So let's first start by understanding what is this or how these levels are formed. So by now, all of us are aware of M and W. Okay. So with that understanding of M and W, we just know that M and W are usually used by the market maker as a trapping mechanism. So if you are aware of M and W, then after the M and W, that is where you start counting your levels. So after the completion of an M, let's say you have an M on top here. And you remember we studied the M or W for long, and the videos are there on the Telegram. So kama ulimiss sama ulisahau, you can still go back on the videos. I've even mentioned the title, the M and W pattern. We covered it for 3 or 4 days. You can still revisit. So when you have an M, like for this case, you see you have an M. So ideally M is used for a fake move. So the second leg of M is usually the beginning of the levels, or we can say is what forms the level 1 of the market. So after the M, utapata level 1 is the second leg of M. So this one forms level 1. After there, we have said after every level there's a retracement. There's a pullback consolidation, level 2. A pullback consolidation, level 3, then a reversal. So we are going to get to understand this is how these levels are formed. After an M or after W, that is what happens. Level 1, then 2 and 3 on top on the other side. So we are going to understand what happens if maybe I've missed trading on level 1. Can I trade level 2? And if it's to trade level 2, how am I going to get into the market at level 2? Another thing is, how do I know that this is the commencement of level 1? Another thing is that, how do I know that now this is the end of a pullback? Now I can consider maybe taking a trade to trade the level 2. So there are several things. As these are levels I've just shown us here, we are going to tackle each and every one separately. What happens in level 1? We have this is level 1. This is L1. This is what we call L1 consolidation. We have level 2, which is L2. Then we have level 2 consolidation. Then we have level 3 and level 3 consolidation. So at each level, there is what happens at every single level. And that is where we are going to start. Okay. That's where we are going to start. If you are following, just confirmation from maybe a few of us as we proceed. Confirmation that we are following.
I'm following.
Together tuko sawa.
Sawa. So let's start. Now that you have an understanding of the levels, let's say you have the M. And according to the knowledge you have, this side is a trapping volume mechanism. Zapata ulikuwa unatoka out of the Asian range, fake move, then M formation, then the true trend. The true trend is now where you count the market maker levels. So what initially happens at level 1, then at pullback, then level 2, what happens at level 2, then what happens at level 3, then a reversal. So we are going to start with what happens at level 1. Okay, so we are going to see what happens at level 1. So we'll capture a few things on that. What really transpired at level 1. Today nini nataka kunisumbua the typing, because it's important to capture those tips so that when we go to the practical part of it, try as much as possible to understand what I will be explaining on the theory, so that when you get to the practical part of it, it will be quite an easy thing for you. So now I'm using the tablet today, so the keyboard I don't know why I highlighted the keyboard. Okay. I will do. I'll just clear this. Anyway, let's just proceed. There's a challenge on that. This thing is very important. I don't know. I like noting these things down so that those will also be following later. Wanaelewa ni nini. So ni sawa, imekuwa sawa. So what happens at level 1? Or just to have an overview or the understanding about level 1. Okay. So number 1, we need to understand that at level 1 is usually the second leg of MOW. Okay. It is usually, that is what we should take note of. Usually the second, though on H1 kuna slight difference, but I will be showing us that usually the second leg of MOW. That is first thing to note about what usually happens at levels 1. Number 2, it is usually driven by the market maker. So it is MM driven. Okay. So driven by the MM. Okay. The third thing you need to take note of level 1. Sometimes it forms in form of what we call half Batman. I will be showing us that, but how to identify it, especially when trading on M15. You will be identifying it when the price closes below the 13 EMA. Maybe I just illustrate that before niandike the rest of the points. Let's say you have your M. You have your M there. So to confirm that now this is the commencement of level 1, because you also need to know how to identify now that this is the beginning of level 1. So one of the ways to do that is now when you have a complete M and you now know how an M forms. I will not go back to that. But now when the price closes, when you see now price, let's say this was your 13 EMA. Now when you see price closing below 13 EMA and also below this neck or breaking the neck. When I talk of the neck, it is this point hapa mali neck ni hapa katikati, the point that connects the two legs. The first leg, when I talk the first leg ni huku, this is the second leg kama umesahau. First leg on this side, the second leg. So for you to confirm that this trend has started is now when the market crosses below 13 EMA, number 1, and now when it breaks the market, the neck of the M or the W. So ukipata ime break, then it comes back, retest on 13 or retest that point of the neck OB. That is now when you will now consider that I have commenced the levels. That's why we usually consider taking trades after the M when the price has closed below the 13 EMA or when the price has gone below the neck of the M or the W. For the case of the W inakaa hivi, unapata ni hii W, and now let's say you have your 13 EMA here. You have your 13 EMA maybe passing through here. So when the price breaks this neck, we have maybe our neck somewhere there, this point. So when the price breaks above it and also breaks above 13, you can now consider taking that trade. but it is usually confirmed, but unapata imebreak na imeretest 13 and now confirms an uptrend. Just a slight confirmation, but now when it closes above 13, that is where we usually consider our entry on level 1. So market ikiform W na close above 13, plus you have other confirmations. By now unajua other confirmation, the stop hand, this W is happening at the stop hand box or 800 or a key reversal zone. Now I have all the confirmation from the TDI. I will be showing us how to combine that on the practical, because we have learned them separately. Now, when you see all that as all that is confirmed, to know that now this is a commencement of level 1 is now when the price is above the 13 EMA. So from that you'll take your trade, do your stop loss below, and now know that I am at level 1. Okay, so we are going maybe to capture a few things on that, then now get to now know what happens after level 1, or how do I know this is the end of level 1 and the beginning of level 1 consolidation. Because you see, after maybe an M, you'll have level 1, then level 1 consolidation is this one, then level 2, then level 2 consolidation, then level 3. So we have just mentioned some few things about level 1. I'm going to maybe write them down, then we go to level 1 consolidation. Okay, are we following? Confirmation tunaelewa ama swali mpaka hapo? Are we following? Any question?
We are following.
Okay. Nimewachia ile point naweza endelea. Sija end, nimezima tu net. Naona vile net imebafa baadaye na
sasa hiyo kitu nimeona vile